Recorded live from the floor of the Palm Room during VCG's annual conference in sunny Orlando, Florida, join Jeff and Aaron as they pull in friends from across the country, share insights from the week's events, and more than likely dive deep on all the stuff they did at Disney World. So sit back, relax, and reflect on 2024 with us. Your secret VCG experience starts now.
We get him on the podcast?
I mean, he'd probably do it. I'm kind of nervous.
What if he knows that we're going to ask him?
He 100% knows.
Maybe I struggle between understanding what prophecy versus mentalist is.
I mean, I've always wanted to get on stage. We've talked about this, I think, on this podcast.
We have.
By the way, do an introduction first. I'm sorry. I'm going to jump right into
We're just
talking
going.
about hypnotism.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, host.
Well, hey, so here we are. This is, I believe, episode 4 now of the podcast live from Disney Springs. We're at the 2024 Village Caregiving Annual Conference.
Go ahead. I was looking at how you
I had to tie. So
knotted that up shorter. I was just looking to see why.
yeah, the lanyard.
He's got a choker on.
Well, this thing is a billboard. Okay, it's good in size. We'll say that. And when it is lower, the full length of it, it kept hitting my belt buckle, and it would click. And so as I'd walk, it would click, and it was driving me crazy. So last night, and plus I wore this last night, and I had a suit jacket on, and where it was hanging, it was like down around the buttons. It was just, so I thought, what does it matter? You don't even have yours on. I am not taking criticism from you when you don't have yours on.
All right, so let's introduce Amber.
Yeah. Okay. So so we're here, episode 4, and who we got here with us today?
Amber Leihgeber from the Batesville office.
Village Caregiving Batesville, and you have been recently crowned as of last night
The new office of the year.
Office of the Year.
Yeah.
New
Coveted
office.
Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
Horde.
Look at this.
Yeah.
My God. Did you have any idea?
0.
Did you feel like you were maybe in the running for it?
I didn't even know it was a thing.
You didn't know it was a thing.
No.
So you just showed up hoping for some Disney tickets and some
Yeah.
food or something.
Yeah, just hanging out with,
No idea of bringing hardware home.
no.
Wow.
I don't even know where I'm going to put it.
Yeah.
It's got to be my carry-on probably.
Oh, that's okay.
No. So I was telling Will, when you don't, this is my first award ceremony, so I didn't have an expectation of, or, what awards are given. So going in blind, had no idea.
Yeah. Well, let's real quick. So to get Rookie of the Year, you got to be a new office, right? You got to be an office that launched. Your path to Village Caregiving came through the Cincinnati office. Is that
Yes.
right? Philip,
Yes.
Emily, Chloe, and the gang at Cincinnati. You came through. You have a nursing background, and so you came in a per diem scenario, or a PRN situation out of the Cincinnati office. Was already covering a lot of southeastern Indiana. And the clients that was there with the Cincinnati office, such growth and need in that market that Village Caregiving opened Village Caregiving Batesville. When did that office open?
April 1st.
April the 1st. You came into the Batesville office. A lot of people align Batesville, Indiana with caskets. Did you know that, Jeff?
No.
It's the casket capital of the United States.
Is he being serious?
100%. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but Village Caregiving has now put Batesville on the map, okay? Not just for coffins. I told Amber when I was there recently that I live near a funeral home, and twice a week a huge truck with the words Batesville Casket Company drives by my house. And so twice a week I think of the Batesville office because the size of a box truck lettering goes past my house. They deliver caskets to the funeral home.
Oh, so you actually see this in Ironton, Ohio.
Yeah.
Batesville, Indiana Casket Company.
Yes.
Drives down South 6th Avenue.
South 6th Street, yeah.
Street.
Yeah, it goes Tracy Brammer Funeral Home twice a week.
I think
Well.
it's the largest provider of caskets in the United States.
Yeah, no
Comes
joke.
from Batesville.
Now that we've talked about it, I wonder if it's one of those things like I'll
Now you're
start
gonna see it.
seeing it all
Yes,
the time.
they deliver to the funeral home in Barbersville. I see their truck up there.
I'll be
So
darned.
you'll see it.
If you're listening to this, you're going to start seeing Batesville caskets
Yes.
everywhere you look.
It's kind of like when you're shopping for a new car.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know there were so many of those. on
What
the
if
road."
the next
Now-
funeral?
Right.
What if the next funeral that the listeners go to, they start checking for the model? Hey, was this one built in
Yeah.
Batesville?
The stamp
Looking
on
for
the
a
side.
tag on-
Yep.
Well, I'll just be honest. I am going to look, and I bet you it would be from there.
Yeah,
I wonder what's that all about, anyways. Some guy just started a company there.
No
Yeah,
idea.
I don't know. I've never dug into it. They seem to be, though, I think it's kind of one of those things like you don't know why that area kind of becomes the thing for it. There's certain pockets where 100% of shingles are made in this one area. And you're like, why? And you're like, I don't know. It's what they're known for. When I do village caregiving trivia and I try to figure out what the towns or the cities are known for that we're making the question about, it's like, yeah, this is the capital of whatever, conveyor belts.
Right.
And you're like, holy cow, wonder why all the conveyor belts are built in that town. And just the industry supports it and they end up becoming the best. So at some point, they're going to look up Barbersville, West Virginia, and it's going to be like, well, that's the epicenter of home care.
Do you remember the very first podcast that we ever filmed when I was talking about conveyor belt sushi
Yes.
in Japan? You ever eat sushi off of a conveyor belt?
Absolutely. Norco, California. Yeah.
She knows what's up.
Yeah. And you put your
I had
plates
a feeling
in
you were
there.
going to say yes to that.
And then if you get 15 plates, prizes shoot out of the.
What?
Yeah. It's amazing.
The one in Japan, anyways, I'm not sure how they were in NoCal, but the plate signifies the price of it based on the color of the rim. Same thing?
Yeah.
Pretty cool system, isn't
Pretty
it?
awesome.
What we were talking about is I wonder what other kinds of products you could apply that to. I'm actually I just think about it for just a moment. If you went to the mall, maybe it was electronics, maybe it's coffee pots. I don't know. It'd save some effort. If they just roll them right by you, just
Kind of takes out that customer service.
Yeah.
and certainly in the food industry there should be more of that because it's fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If
yeah.
you were at a buffet, why do I have to keep walking up there?
Send it by me.
I said 20 times. That's how many I apparently go to a buffet.
Yeah.
I've got 19 more visits up here. But no, because what it does is it introduces an element like the kids think it's fun. It's like going to a hibachi.
Yep.
They do all the stuff. We should open
Let's do
up
that.
a restaurant. This is a good idea. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Listen,
You're
I'm an
sure-
entrepreneur, okay? I think like this.
You are as sure of this idea today as you were 2 years ago.
I'm more sure of it now. It's evolved a little bit. If you go back and listen, I was feeling
kinda
through it.
iffy.
Now I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so if we can, let's talk a little bit, Amber, about why when you are up on stage yesterday and you've got a new Office of the Year, you're holding this award, and you come back and you sit at your table and you get an opportunity to kind of reflect on, wow, I wasn't expecting this award. I didn't know that this award was even an opportunity to be sought after. When you go to explain, someone says, why did you win that award? What will you say to them? What did Batesville do that made them new Office of the Year, in your opinion?
Honestly, I think what I do is what everybody else does.
Sure.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
feel like Batesville is special or that I did anything different than Will Ray does, or
I got you. Yeah.
I don't honestly, I don't know.
Well, I think a lot of it, I shouldn't say a lot. There's a portion of it that comes down to luck or whatever, right? The market has to, early on, right? You either come out to a super hot market or you don't, right? And so that helps. That obviously helps. If you come out to a market that is oversaturated with home care agencies, or you don't have very strong referral sources in that market, it can be difficult. You can do all the right things, but early on, you haven't cultivated enough relationships to really get the ball rolling. Jeff, when you vote for new Office of the Year, what are you looking for in that?
That's a good question. Growth of the office, yes. Are they doing all of the compliance tasks correctly, collecting every single care sheet filled out and signed correctly? What am I hearing in compliance Tuesday morning meetings, in Monday morning business development meetings, in our executive team meetings? You just start to hear if somebody's popping up all the time in a good way, or sometimes it's not such a good way, but you start to get a feel for it. And I know Amber, and I know the culture, that you would create there. It's a really wide, holistic sort of just approach. But man, it was tough because there were a lot of new offices that had a lot of success this year. I'll say this is like ultimate compliment. Whenever you ask someone like Amber, what made you win the award? How did you do it? And she can't really answer that question. I think that's because you don't really. You just did you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. I just did stuff. That's because you're just really good at it. It's
thank
hard.
you.
You ever it's like asking like Michael Jordan, how do you be so good at basketball? He's kind of like, I don't know.
Just happens.
Right. I just go up and dunk on people.
Yeah.
There's an element to that. So when you hesitate in that answer, I think that's why. Honestly, how do you explain what you just comes second nature to you? It's not easy.
Yeah, I think, being a nurse, right? Sometimes you would get recognized for nursing achievement, right? You'd do things, and a family, it would just really. And I think as a nurse, you can look if you're working the floor and you have a handful of nurses working that unit. There's some that go above and beyond. There's some that are just really solid nurses, and there's some that you're like, I'm not certain what you're doing, right? And it's like, so how do you stand out in that field, right? But sometimes you would get recognized. You'd get some type of special honor, and they'd be like, man, this family said you were really the difference maker. Last night during the keynote speech, right, our keynote speaker talked about the nurses that changed his life and the healthcare workers that changed the trajectory of his life. And he remembered them to this day, right, and still goes around the country talking about the work that they put in. I doubt any of those people really realized and they were just doing a good job. That's who they were as humans. And they would have probably been great transmission builders or astronauts or whatever they did in life. They would have probably been great at. They happened to be in that nursing role. So in this case, you were probably an awesome nurse, right? Probably an awesome PTO mom or whatever you do. You probably just do at a very high level anyways, right? And so it probably is like, I don't know what, like I just showed up every day, did the very best job that I could do.
Yeah.
And then they get me on stage and say that I was the best, right? And they're like, but yeah, I can definitely see that. But what we look at from a business operations perspective, when I look into Region 4, which is the region that operates the Indiana markets, what we've looked at is there's a lot of new offices in that region, a lot of new faces. But what you guys were able to do was, I think for us, a rookie of the year, a new office of the year, has to be great at the KPIs, as you said, right? But early on, they just have this aggressive culture of saying yes, just trying to help as many people as they can, as safely as they can. Because every time they do a good job, someone gets care and someone gets an opportunity to provide care, right? And that is something you guys have just early on adopted at your office, of just a culture of just trying to figure out ways to say yes. And it's not that the other offices don't, maybe you guys just luck of the draw had more opportunity to say yes in your markets. But you guys have definitely in the town of Batesville. And we got to drive through it a couple weeks ago. I was out there. And when you drive around downtown Batesville, man, you feel like you're driving around like the best little towns in America. I mean, it has that Barbersville vibe to it.
Absolutely.
It is, you just know where the candy shop is, where the little floral shop, like it's just.
You know where the casket shop is.
You know where they build the caskets for all the dead people. Is it wonder if it's like, in Huntington, in West Huntington, we have fresh bread, right? I wonder if anyone in Batesville ever understands how fresh of a casket they get. This thing is just, the stain's still drying on it when we take it out to the cemetery.
Batesville's also known for a cherry thing-a-ling.
Have you heard of this, by the way? She told me this when I was out there.
Cherry what?
It's a cherry thing-a-ling.
Thing-a-ling?
Yeah.
No, I
so
don't
it's
know
like
this.
it's a cherry fritter.
Yeah.
And they only sell them like mid-February for 4 days. And
Cherry.
people come from states and wait in line for hours to get this once a year thing-a-ling.
What's the name of the bakery that this comes from? Do you know off the top of your head? It's okay. We'll find it. But yeah, when we were in town, she was telling me about this, that there's a line around the corner because these things are limited edition cherry pastries. We'll make sure that we link it on here.
Do you remember when you were a kid? Or maybe I'm a little bit older. I don't know, because I haven't seen one of these in a long time.
Okay.
There was a little kind of semicircle shaped, like a taco shell shaped pastry. And they would have like a cherry filling inside of it, and wrapped up in that little like wax paper little bag.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
You
about?
could get an
Yes.
apple one, a
Yes.
cherry
Remember
one,
those?
a
Yes.
peach one. Yeah.
Those, whatever happened to those?
They're still a thing.
Oh, you can still get
Yeah.
those?
Yeah.
They're-
That's
and they were
definitely
like-
a gas station kind of a.
They were
Yes.
like pressed, like the pie crust type.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the edge,
Pinched
yeah.
around
And
the
the
edge.
That was
white
handy if you were on the
frosting.
go,
Yeah.
like as a kid trying to run and catch the school bus, I'd grab one of those. And
Yeah.
anyways, that's what cherry thingling made me think of. Let me ask you, I'm going to reframe that question from earlier because I'm still stuck on it a little bit. If you had to give advice to another executive director, hey, what attributes, characters, what do I carry home with me? What is my most important, what do I need to feel inside? Or like what, there's something that does make you good. You're not just Michael Jordan dunking on people. I mean, it would be like determination and perseverance and mental strength. That's what he would say made me special, right? There's got to be a few things that set you apart. Can you identify those? If I was a director saying, what should I do?
I think that the everyday drive for me is just caring and having this responsibility that, I'm in charge of getting someone to help them there. So it's an overwhelming care that I have, that everybody that's, all of my clients need to have a great caregiver. And if that doesn't happen, I honestly don't sleep at night, I have a hard time, checking out. Like, oh, we'll fix it tomorrow. I have a hard time checking out.
That's kind of what I was looking at. It's like you don't want to go home and beat yourself up about it when something goes wrong, because things are going to go wrong sometimes.
Yeah, daily,
it will.
for sure.
But you need to appropriately care and let it bother you some.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's a big part of it. I tell a lot of directors that, like, whenever we drop the ball or we have a call off that we can't fix, that should bother us some. The day that we stop caring about it, boy, we'll just stink. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was wondering if that's a good answer. Okay, I'll get off of that question now, Aaron.
Man,
Sorry.
that was a great question. No, it was a great question. So,
It must be it's lunchtime.
Yeah, they're breaking for lunch, which is exciting.
This is your
said
first conference. You know what he does at lunch is he hosts trivia, and it puts up there his head is pasted on like Alex Trebek's body, and it says Aaron Trebek.
That's awesome.
It's really funny.
Yeah, I'm hoping they don't do the animation this year. It was.
I'm
It's a
guessing
good
probably
time.
so.
And actually, this is the first year that I don't know the questions and answers ahead of time, so I get to play along. I'm going to see if I can't win.
Yeah.
Is there a prize?
Yes.
What is it?
$1 million.
It's got to be $100.
Yeah, it's $100.
$100. Okay.
Yeah.
We're winning.
So this year we're doing it on Kahoot. So last year we had to kind of do it off the honor system. The room got too big. So this year we moved it to Kahoot, so it'll be digitally tracked, and we'll have a public.
But you got to be fast. That's the
You
thing
do,
I've
yeah,
learned.
yeah.
If you got to guess, but you got to guess quickly.
That's right. Guess
you can't
quick.
think
Don't be
about
scared.
it. Skip
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell you who will probably win.
Okay.
That pesky Will Shields.
God, you just said so many hard things about Will today.
Or actually,
I love
Will Ray is pretty.
I'm going to dinner with
pretty
him
quick
tonight.
too.
That don't mean I like him winning everything. Pickleball, math, field day. I don't know what else.
Sure.
Probably all that stuff.
Yeah.
Or Chandler. Chandler's oddly good at these trivia things too. I think he cheats though.
We'll distract him during it. It's fine. I'll text Will and tell him we have an emergency in the hallway. So.
Okay.
Well, cool.
Good luck. Good luck at Aaron Trebek trivia.
Yeah, Amber, we don't want to hold you up from lunch, although we're more entertaining than what that lunch buffet is going to be. I'll tell you how they could really improve that lunch buffet would be to send it around on a conveyor belt.
Money. Way to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Glad you put a bow on it, brought it home.
Next year.
Right. Congrats, Rookie
Yeah,
of the Year.
congrats.
Thank you.
It is
Thank you so much.
Only up from here.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well, cheers.
Cheers. Clink, clink.
See.
There it is. Oh. 1930 Scar horn. I knew it had to be on there. Let's hear that one more time.
Let's hear that one more time. Oh, no.